It is 350 AD. In a highland city in northeastern Africa, 50,000 people are already awake. A merchant loads ingots onto a camel's back. A priest lights incense inside a stone tower. A child runs barefoot across a courtyard, chasing something we cannot see. The city smells like frankincense and cattle and the iron-red dust that coats everything in the dry season. It sits at 2,100 meters above sea level, higher than most of Rome's surrounding hills. Its harbor, 3 days' march away, handles more tonnage than any port between Alexandria and India. Its king mints gold coins stamped with his own face and the sign of the cross, decades before Constantine makes Christianity the official religion of Rome. This city is not Cairo, not Carthage, not Mero. This is Aksum, and almost nobody talks about it. This is not a video about a minor regional kingdom forgotten by accident. This is a video about a deliberate erasure, about how one of the most sophisticated empires in human history was written out of the story of civilization, and why recovering it changes everything we thought we knew about Africa, about Christianity, and about the ancient world. Using AI reconstruction, we went back to Aksum between 100 and 500 AD and rebuilt its markets, its towers, its harbors, and its court. Every frame is grounded in findings from the British Institute in Eastern Africa, the Deutsche Aksum-Expedition of 1906, and excavations published through the Tigray Archaeological Institute. What you are about to see will change how you think about the ancient world, and about what we choose to remember. Stand at the center of ancient Aksum and look in every direction. To the west, the Nile watershed, the gold fields of Sudan. To the east, the Red Sea, and beyond it, the spice routes of Arabia and India. To the north, Egypt. To the south, the highlands of Africa stretching further than any map has measured. Aksum does not sit on a trade route. Aksum is the trade route. By the 1st century AD, the Greek merchant manual known as the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea names Aksum's port city of Adulis as one of the busiest harbors in the ancient world. The author describes merchants arriving there from Egypt, Arabia, India, carrying cloth, iron, wine, and glass, leaving with ivory, tortoiseshell, obsidian, and gold. A sailor from Roman Egypt who lands at Adulis sees something unexpected. He sees organized customs officials, standardized weights and measures, warehouses stacked to the ceiling, a road inland, paved, maintained, guarded. This is not a loosely organized trading post. This is a state with infrastructure. The road from Adulis climbs 120 kilometers into the highlands, gaining over 1,000 meters in altitude. Merchants who make this journey arrive in Aksum itself, winded, astounded, and immediately confronted with evidence of a power that did not need to announce itself. You always know you've entered a serious kingdom when it stops explaining itself. A woman in the Aksum market grinds grain with a rotary quern. The sound, stone on stone, is the sound of mourning in every city on earth. But what she is doing next to the grinding is unusual. She is making change, not bartering, making change, because Aksum has currency. Aksumite kings begin minting coins in the 3rd century AD, making Aksum one of only 4 states in the world at that time to produce its own coinage. The others are Rome, Persia, and the Kushan Empire of Central Asia. Think about what that means. To mint a coin, you need a state, you need a treasury, you need a legal system that agrees to honor the coin, you need citizens who trust it. You need enough surplus wealth flowing through your economy that abstract tokens, little discs of metal, reliably represent real value. The Aksumite coins come in 3 materials: gold, silver, and bronze, calibrated for international trade, local commerce, and everyday transactions. They are stamped with the king's face, and, beginning in the reign of Ezana in the mid-4th century, with a cross. Not a cross as ornament, a cross as state symbol, on money. A bronze coin found at Adulis shows wheat sheaves on one side and a king's portrait on the other. It is the size of a thumbnail. It passed through dozens of hands: sailor, merchant, tax collector, fishwife, priest. Pick it up, feel how light it is. That coin is a civilization in your palm. Now, look up. Rising from the plateau of Aksum are stone towers that modern engineers still cannot fully explain. They are called stelae, monolithic obelisks carved from single pieces of granite, quarried kilometers away, and transported without wheels, without pulleys as we understand them, without any technology we can definitively identify. The tallest standing stele is 24 meters high, roughly 8 stories. It weighs 160 tons, but the greatest stele ever erected, now fallen, broken into 5 pieces, would have stood 33 meters tall and weighed 520 tons. It is the largest single stone monument ever attempted by any culture in human history. Not Egypt, not Rome, not the Maya. Aksum. The stelae are not solid pillars, they are carved to look like the facades of multi-story buildings, with false windows, false doors, and architectural details representing the wooden beam construction of actual Aksumite architecture. They are portraits of buildings, cities compressed into stone. The bases of the stelae contain underground tomb chambers, funeral spaces for Aksumite royalty, lined with granite slabs, equipped with offering tables carved with moon and disc symbols that predate the Christian era. Inside one chamber, archaeologists found a bronze lamp, still with traces of oil in it. Someone lit that lamp for the dead, and someone expected the dead to need it. Around 330 AD, something happens in the Aksumite royal palace that will permanently redirect the trajectory of the empire and, arguably, the history of an entire continent. King Ezana converts to Christianity. He does not do this quietly. He removes the crescent moon and disc symbols of the old Aksumite gods from his royal coins. He replaces them with the cross. He issues royal inscriptions carved in stone in 3 languages, thanking not the old gods but the Lord of Heaven. The inscriptions in Ge'ez, Greek, and Sabaean are real. They have been found. Ezana's conversion is not legend, it is epigraphy. But here is where the story gets complicated. Ezana does not convert in isolation. A Syrian monk named Frumentius, who had lived at the Aksumite court since childhood, travels to Alexandria and returns as the first bishop of Aksum, consecrated by Athanasius himself. Athanasius, the theologian who is simultaneously winning the argument over the nature of Christ at the Council of Nicaea. Aksum does not receive Christianity as a subordinate province absorbing a foreign religion. Aksum receives Christianity at the center of its most heated doctrinal disputes from one of its most powerful voices, and it immediately takes a side. Aksum sides with Athanasius, with the full divinity of Christ. When that position becomes heresy in the Eastern Roman Empire, Aksum holds firm. It has been holding firm ever since. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church, direct institutional descendant of Ezana's conversion, is one of the oldest continuous Christian institutions on earth. But in 330 AD, nobody knows what any of this will mean. What they know is that the king has changed, and when the king changes, everything changes. From the coins in the market to the inscriptions over the palace door, the old gods do not go down without a fight. For 400 years, Aksum has been the gatekeeper of the Red Sea. Every ship going from the Mediterranean to India passes through waters Aksum controls. Every merchant who wants access to Adulis pays Aksumite customs. Every rival trade network, Arabian, Persian, Indian, negotiates with Aksum. Then, in the 7th century AD, something shifts. It does not happen overnight. It happens the way all civilizational crises happen, slowly at first, then all at once. The rise of the Islamic Caliphate after 632 AD rewrites the political map of the Red Sea world. Arabian trade networks, now unified under a single political and religious umbrella, no longer need to negotiate through Aksumite ports. They have their own ports, their own ships, their own routes. Adulis begins to empty. The customs officials find fewer ships to tax. The warehouses begin to echo. The road from the harbour to the highlands, once maintained by constant traffic, starts to deteriorate in ways that nobody quite gets around to fixing. Inside Aksum, the court does not collapse. It contracts. This is important. Aksum does not fall in a battle. There is no sacking, no burning, no single catastrophic defeat. The empire simply becomes smaller than the world it once commanded. A merchant who arrives in Adulis in 700 AD and compares it to what he has heard of the city in 300 AD would not recognize it. The warehouses are half empty, the road is rutted, and the ships in the harbour are flying flags he has never seen before. The world has moved on. Aksum has not moved with it. Not yet understanding that this is not a crisis. It is a transformation. By the 10th century, the seat of the Ethiopian kingdom has moved south. The stelae still stand. The churches still hold services. The coins, long since stopped being minted, are collected as antiques. Then a figure emerges from the south who, depending on which source you read, either liberates oppressed peoples from Aksumite dominance or sacks the ancient holy city. Her name, in the Ethiopian tradition, is Yodit, or Judith, or Gudit. The sources argue. What the sources agree on: she is a queen. She commands an army. She burns. Churches burn. Manuscripts burn. The great royal library, if there was one, does not survive. The stelae remain standing, but the civilization that raised them has, within 2 centuries, become mythologized even within its own successor cultures. The great collapsed stelae, the 520-ton giant, lies in pieces. The underground tomb it marked is robbed out. The offering table out front is cracked. Nobody repairs it. Not because they do not care, because they no longer know who it was for. That is the true measure of civilizational loss. Not when a city burns, but when a people no longer remembers the name of the dead who shaped them. But here is what Yodit could not burn, what the trade routes could not take with them, what the centuries could not dissolve. The Ge'ez language, the liturgical tongue of ancient Aksum, is still spoken in churches from Addis Ababa to diaspora communities in Washington, D.C. It did not die, it became sacred, which is a different kind of survival. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church carries within its theology a direct, unbroken line to Frumentius, to Athanasius, to the Council of Nicaea, to the earliest years of organized Christian doctrine. Nowhere else on earth has that line held so cleanly. The Kebra Nagast, the epic text that describes the union of Solomon and the Queen of Sheba and the birth of the Solomonic dynasty, is compiled in the 14th century but draws on Aksumite traditions stretching back to the first millennium. It becomes the founding document of Ethiopian national identity. It inspires Rastafarian theology half a world away, 600 years later. The stelae, the ones still standing, are recognized by UNESCO. The greatest stele, stolen by Mussolini in 1937 as a war trophy and erected in Rome, is returned to Ethiopia in 2008. It stands again in Aksum. A piece of the ancient world that was taken comes home. And in 2008, archaeologists working the plateau around Aksum find, beneath the soil, the foundations of a palace complex covering over a hectare. It has not been excavated yet. It is waiting. Every civilization tells a story about itself. Aksum told its story in gold and granite and ge'ez, in coins stamped with the cross, in towers that stood for a god who had many names before he had that one, in trade routes that connected 4 continents before anyone had drawn a map of all 4. And then the world changed, and the story was interrupted, not ended. The stelae are not ruins. They are a sentence that was never finished. We are the ones who have to choose whether to keep reading or to walk past and call the language lost. Every week we go further back. Different empire, different century, the same unanswered question. If Aksum stayed with you, subscribe so you never miss where we go next.